How do we follow up
On the set, on the scene. Welcome back to the Bricks, broadcast from BPR Studios. I'm your host, Ken Boyer, here to recap Game 6 of the NBA Finals, where the series is now tied 3-3 with the Heat edging out the Spurs 103-100 in a thriller in overtime. LeBron James had a triple-double. Tim Duncan, he was on fire the first half, unstoppable, 25 points, finished with 30 points in the game. Manu Ginobili was just awful. Like he reverted back to the same Manu Ginobili that was in games 1 through 4. He was abysmal. 8 turnovers, and it was terrible. But I'm not here to talk stats or anything like that. You can turn on ESPN or anything like that to watch something like that to get the stats. I'm here to just talk about, a few key points that I wanted to, break down about this game and I thought was key down the stretch. The Spurs, had control of the game, pretty much the entire game, especially, the third quarter. They really just lit up the Heat. Was up 10 to start the fourth, and the Heat really seemed to just pack it in. Once again, no matter what happened throughout the entire game, the fact that LeBron James really just cannot shoot the basketball. He didn't prove that again, last night. The Spurs basically locked him down, zoned him, guarded him, and hey, it was the same old same old. He passed and he lived and died really by Mario Chalmers. A lot of people, wake up this morning and give all the kudos to LeBron James and Sports Center, LeBron this and LeBron that, but Mario Chalmers, I feel like, was the key factor for the Heat. And in that entire game, he held them through until LeBron James woke up with about 6-7 minutes to go. Which was a key block he had on Tim Duncan that really changed the momentum and really just got LeBron into the game because they started bringing out the trophy for San Antonio. Look at the crowd, the Spurs on the Heat's floor. Literally bringing the stage and everything like that to get ready. They were preparing to give the Spurs the NBA championship, and I feel like the Spurs really was on the same type of thing. That game last night was a Game 7 type game. The Spurs should have won that game. I picked the Spurs in 6, and it went just about the way that I thought it would go, pretty much. But it just really turned into I really feel like the NBA should, if this is how they're going to play and let the game play out, I feel like they should change the name to the NBE. Like WWF had to do and change their name to the WWE, because this is entertainment. It's like, Andre the Giant winning and got plenty, control of the game. And it's like, oh no, Hulk Hogan, he comes back, he slams, he hits a shot, he blocks it, he does this, he does that. Just drama, just all these different type of, animations and crazy, scenarios going on in the game. The Spurs had the game and missed free throws, was just awful. I never seen a team falter like that with a 5 point lead, with 20 seconds to go. That's just ridiculous. I feel like the Spurs lost this game. And people want to count, the overtime and, LeBron coming alive and all these different things and the Ray Allen shot. All of that was great. All of that was great, but it was the Spurs that allowed them to be able to even do that, to have the opportunity. And once it went into overtime, it was the Heat's game. It was the Heat's game. A lot of people, want to, point out the last call of the game. Where the non-calls, really the last two non-calls back to back to end overtime. Overtime was all Heat. I really want to point out 3 plays I think that was key that let me know. It was the Heat's game. The game was Miami's, period. When LeBron James came down, he was in a rhythm. He still could not shoot the ball. He got, dunks from setups from Mario Chalmers and things like that, and put back, layups and stuff like that. But when he went down and made a spin move and literally just fell to the ground, and the Spurs players just sitting there watching him the same way they've been doing the entire game. He makes a spin move and falls down, and they called that foul, and he step up and he make the 2 free throws. He don't miss it like Kawhi Leonard, and Manu Ginobili did in the fourth quarter. So they gave him that. I'm not, and then you don't call the last 2 calls of the game for the Spurs when they clearly fouled. It was just hacking. It was ridiculous. The Spurs bench was just up in an uproar. I mean, I don't have a problem with, fine. If you're going to call the game like that, call it like that consistently, especially in overtime when you don't give LeBron James the call and give him 2 free points at the end of the game and dictate the game, and then no calls to end it. That for the Spurs. I mean, I just feel like, the game was pretty well officiated throughout, as best as you can possibly hope for throughout the game. But I mean, that was terrible. They really did a good job up until that last minute or so. Like, that was terrible in overtime. I don't know. So that's the problem, I seen with this whole thing. And you wake up and LeBron James, he's basically being the same passive way that he's been the entire series. He scored points in the fourth quarters and things like that in garbage times, and 1 through 4 games. He did that the whole series. I don't see anything different. It's just the fact that his team literally carried him and allowed him to be able to have an opportunity to turn on like he did. And they go with the headband coming off and all of that, man. All of that stuff is nonsense. I really just seen that as, the Spurs lost that game. The Heat won. The overtime was theirs. That let me know once I seen the spin move and the foul called on him, and then I knew what time it was. Called it. But it was just it was all around. It was a great game. Except for those fouls called and things like that. It was a great game overall. I got to say it was a great game. But I just hate to see games dictated like that, man. And I hate the way that the NBA is going right now. Like, if this is how they want to do, man, they might as well change, the name to the entertainment, because that's what it looks like to me. It's just ridiculous. But overall, man, we got a Game 7 matchup in Miami tomorrow night. And, we'll see where it goes, man. I really don't know, where to go from here. The Spurs should have won this Game 6, and I don't know. My prediction is out the window, obviously, with the Spurs losing last night. But, I don't know, man. We'll see where it goes, man. But for now, Ken Boyer here for your quick Bricks update. We'll see you soon.